I love ya. De casa home. Good afternoon. Let me go live. Right here. This one. I love ya. Welcome to the power of you. This is Yeyefini, Yellow Day Yeyefini. Down there. Welcome everyone. I love you. Mahogany the chemist. She's always the first one. Good afternoon. De casa home. Yes, it's so wonderful to see us in this season of preparation for the Obatala Festival. Yes, I love August. The month of August is by time to celebrate my anniversary, my cardinal anniversary. My birthday is August 31st, as well as my Orisha anniversary, which is August 26th. And for those of you who read my book, The Living Shrine, you know how come I was in the room on my birthday. Yes, I was running from death. Running from death. I was told to be initiated by the time I was 23. Y'all wouldn't have met me. And out of obedience, dedication, and commitment, baby, I made it in. I was sitting with a bald head on the 26th of August 26, 1971. I was a little bald head, y'all on my birthday because I was made on the 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Yeah, the day before I came out of the womb. So anyway, today we're not talking about me, but we are talking about me. In the power of you today, we are speaking about a good word is an act of kindness. A good word is an act of kindness. Y'all know how I love to talk about myself. Oh boy. This is a time that I love you, everyone. Nesta Jenkins, Mahogany the chemist. I have people on in Instagram. Empress Jabella. Welcome, Empress Jabella, saying hello. Orisha Tobi Loba Ifashegun. Yes, greetings, everyone. Yeah, Zo singing music. Yes, everyone, welcome. Olivia Smith, Alafia. Yes, my friend. Well, we are here today to talk about, and Xavier Me is online. So this Wednesday, as every Wednesday, we speak and we try to come from a place of just transparency, using Obatala's words to encourage during this month. For those of you who have not gotten your newsletter, get it. Please go on my blog at yeyefini.com and get the blog that we're speaking about the month and the things and the aspects of Obatala, the Orisha, the benevolent, the loving, the wonderful, the maker of all our heads, the maker of everything that is in divine alignment. And the Orisha that has lost his temper sometimes. Yes. So this is perfection, So anyway, so we live in a culture of speed, of quickness, a time of constant stimulation, notification, reminders. We got all of the ding dings and wing wings that come up on our phones, and that can sometimes trigger to act without thinking about the consequences of our actions. Sometimes we just jump out and say, I'm gonna do this because it's quick and it's easy. Let me go catch this call and do it, knowing in the moment, if you take 3 seconds to just breathe, this may not be that time, the best time for you to show up as the best expression of the divine. So we live in this culture. Everything is a push the button, get back, you reel back, delete, get back. Now it's the AI thing that you don't even have to think. You just press a button and it give you. We are going so quick. They're in the age of speed. And so we got stimulated and forget about the consequences. So during this month, we may feel the subtle changes in the sun's intensity. It's the wind is shifting, the rain is just coming. It's all kinds of things that temptations are just flooding everything that we're doing. And we are forced to pay attention to the reminder that we are not in control of everything or every situation in our life. We're not in control of it. So the weather can come, it can rain for days, or the wind can come and it could decide to do something else and just shift our head and just blow our heads off, or not our heads, but our gale off, our hat off. And it's just life showing us you're not in control. And the weatherman may say it's going to be sunny and it rains, and you may not be, you know, you just like, what? So it's a reminder that we're not in control of everything. And everything to me is a test. It's a test to see if, in fact, we are reminded, because you know what, I'm constantly speaking about the things that's happening outside of us. It's just an opportunity for us to realize that how good we are inside, how we can link into each other, to ourselves, to our families, to our hearts, to the beating of our hearts, the rhythm of the things that we know we're supposed to do. We come with a whole notebook of what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to do it. And we're reminded. It's not if you're in this faith and you get a reading and you get a tie and you get no. Life always has a way of, in the midst of chaos, there's somebody or something that shows you that, be glad that you are where you are, because it could be worse. So we are always aligning and reminding that we are blessed. We are the Spirit of God, the extension of Olodumare. We are the extension of our ancestors. We are the best hope to inspire someone else. And so sometimes we forget that because we're in the speed of the buttons and everything. So we are not in control. Olodumare, we are like little figurines that you just marionettes, that you just do your fingers like that, and it comes out, or like little puppets that you put your fingers in, you make your children think that really there's someone in there. That's how we are. The Creator is using us like marionettes. Go over here and bless someone. I'm going to trigger you so that you can go clearer and brighter inside of you. Sometimes we're in a situation that are a test of character, and we react differently than we know we should. In that moment when we do something, we may not know because we're so involved in getting to the next button, to get to the next thing, to get to the next acquiring something. And we know right after that, we're like, that's not really who I am. So during this Obatala season, we are being tested and reminded that we are the divine. We are God's hope for uplifting each other. We are that person, that situation, that energy that walks into a store and does something, or you're crossing the street and something happens, or you're the person in your home that you're the voice that is needed. That's what we are doing this period here with Obatala, is bringing us this month. We can look back in retrospect and wish we didn't react the way that we did. So when things happen, it's just part of the human experience. As we evolve, our emotions play a very important role in our life. It's energy in motion, and I've said that before. It's just an energy passing through, and if you catch it, you can take that energy and make it something greater, or you can take that energy and say, no, been there, done that, throw it away. So when we have our emotions, it's a natural order. Even the Orisha had emotional outbursts. So out of frustration, we may overlook the fact that people may be acting out of ignorance to us, or maybe it's in pain, maybe it's anger, maybe it's a mental health issue, or just may happen because of the energy that we are attracting to ourselves for the situation for us to grow. So I want to share a little story with you when Obatala was, and this is just to let us know that we all go through those moments, and be gentle with ourselves. And, take a moment to recap and come back to your awareness that, this was not the time for me to do this. And it's okay. So, this is the time when Obatala was going to visit his friend, Shango. They had a beautiful relationship. And he said, hey, I'm going to go see my brother. We're not dealing here with him being the Baba on that. This is just a friend. He's going to see his friend, his homie. They were going to talk about whatever it is that you get together when you're talking with your friends. Like, man, I got to go see so-and-so. If it's for inspiration, if it's just for talk, if it's just encouragement, if just to talk about the family stuff that you can't talk about. So he said, look, I'm going over there to see my homie. I'm going to see my friend Shango. His wife said, I had a dream last night. And the dream said, you should not go to Oyo to see Shango. He was like, what do you mean? She said, I have a feeling that you should not go to see Shango because the thing is not going to work out well. He said, you know what? You and your dreams, you know how the women are. They have that 6th sense, that 7th sense, the 8th sense, the 29th sense to tell you when it's time to, don't ask questions, just run. So he said, you know what? Let me go check with my brother Orumila. And he went and got a divination, probably from a female diviner from an wall. I'm going to spice up the story here. So Orumila says, hey, you're going to Oyo. I don't know if this is the time for you to go to Oyo. He said, but I have to go. So what's the Ebo? There's always an Ebo. There's always a ritual. Give me the ritual so I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. So Ifa said, oh, because there's never a thing that thou shalt not go to Oyo. It's always there's choice. You can go and this is the situation, and you can prepare and this is the situation. So Obatala, being the wise one who created everything, said, okay, let me listen to my brother. Orumila was the Ebo. He did the Ebo, he did the ritual. He says, but the trip, So he said, well, I'm going. So he went ahead and he's going. So while he's on there, he's dressed up, and the wife said, I saw in the dream that you shouldn't go because I don't know what's going to happen. He said, I did the rituals and I'm out of here. Peace. So I'll see you in a few days. He said, okay. He went on, and just as he's going to see Eshu, and Eshu's like, oh, my brother, help me. Can you help me put this palm oil on my head? And everybody wants to help Eshu because we know without his help, we're nothing. So Obatala said, okay, I'll help you, my younger brother. And he helps him. Boom. Just as he does that, palm oil on his clothes. Oh, my God. That's the dream his wife had, that she saw him with these things that she thought was blood. She saw these red things on him. And she was like, don't go, you might get hurt. But it wasn't that. It was the palm oil. So he said, okay, it's just a little palm oil. I'm okay. Because Shango knows that, on the road, stuff be happening. So anyway, he kept on going. Again, he met Eshu. Eshu said, oh, this thing is heavy, my brother. I've always taken care of you. So can you just help me with this thing, this jug of palm oil? And he lifted up again. He said, okay, I'm going to help you. And he went ahead and helped him. Again, the same thing, the palm oil. What? So he gets it again for the 3rd time. And then he said, wait a minute, that's Shango's horse over there. And so he said, let me get my brother's horse. I know his horse because we used to do some interesting things with that horse. He probably used to go and date women and stuff, right? With the horse. You never know. I like to spice up these stories. So he said, yeah, that's my homie's horse. Let me go over there and check it. And he said, oh, and it had briars in it, and all of the hair was all discombobulated. So he said, well, let me take it to Oyo. He ended up on his way to Oyo. He found some men that were out looking for Shango's horse, and they grabbed him, beat Obatala upstanding in the head, drag his clothes. I said, you are the one that stole that stole Shango's horse. And they threw him in this place. They didn't have prisons like we know. They put him on this compound where he could not come out, right? And so they didn't have the little bars, but they had enough to know that he ain't going nowhere. So anyway, he stayed there, and he said, well, sooner or later, Shango will know that that I'm in trouble. Because how could he be a king and not know what's going on in his land? So he just sat there, and he sat there for days, and he sat there for weeks. He sat there for weeks and for weeks. And just as he said, wait a minute, nobody's coming for me. He got pissed off. He was angry. He was upset. And he's a God of peace. Now remember that. That's what I'm saying. You know about that lot. During this time, you're going to be awakened to some stuff that you got to be very careful. And so, because you can never says, oh, like with me, I'm doing my 16 days of Obatala, and I'm fasting, and I'm doing all the stuff that I do every year. I'm going to tell y'all a little story about me. I fell out of grace the other day too. But anyway, back to this story about Obatala, my Baba. So then Obatala says, they're coming for me, but they didn't come. So in his rage, he stopped everything. Because remember, he made everything. So he could stop everything. Babies stopped being born. It stopped raining. The sun was bright and people could not eat. People started getting skinny. They got weak. They got sick. All types of breezes and diseases came from different places. And it was like, oh my God. So Shango said, I don't know what's going on. So he went to the diviner, and he says, oh, the reason that you're having this problem is that you have someone right in your compound, in your kingdom, that is the purpose that you're having this problem. Some kind of injustice was done, and you as a king should know what's going on up in your yard. So he started looking, and finally they said it's an old man that's been there that and when they brought Obatala out, his clothes still had on palm oil, he had cobwebs in his hair, all of that stuff, and he's coming out like, my baby, he was so enraged. How could they do that to me? But anyway, Shango said, oh, Baba, and he just for the ballet to him, prostrated to him, and said, please forgive me for what I've done. I didn't know that, you were in jail, you were in my compound. And Obatala says, you should know better. If you're a king, how could you not know what's going on in your kingdom? Like I repeat, in all his rage. And he looked around. And Shango said, look, Baba, all of our people are dying. There's nothing growing. And in that moment, Obatala said, but wait a minute. I can't be that angry that I'm destroying my children, their way of life. I can't do that. I'm the God of peace. I'm energy. And so in that moment, Obatala had to recognize his shortcoming and had to change, pivot. In that moment, he was aware that you are the impediment of everything that is about truth and not lie, of peace and not anger. So Obatala in that moment stopped the rage that caused everything to stop. And so from that day on, of course, then Shango was able to acknowledge the fact that when you're a ruler, you have to know what's going on. So for us as adults, we have to know what's going on in our lives. But sometimes stuff be slipping through. Don't be slipping through. And then the bigger story of it, or the not other story of it, is, of course, all of us are allowed to have anger, have an emotion, have rage, fall out of grace. And so out of frustration, we may overlook the fact that people may be acting out of ignorance. They may be in pain. They may be in anger. They may be having mental health issues, or just maybe because the energy you are bringing is causing the people to react in that way. We may say a sharp word that hurt a person. We may be in a moment and forget where we are, in the street, in our home, in our temple, and react inappropriately. Sometimes the damage done is irreparable by an apology or a gift or a joke. Or sometimes you can just joke it off. But sometimes the damage that is done. So Shango recognized, I need to do what I need to do. But Obatala had to man up to and say, you know what? I can't be that pissed off that I'm destroying with my feet what I created with my hands. So when we find ourselves acting out of character, that's the time we are closest to spirit and rotation and God's presence and God's grace, and reminding us as to why we're here. Because the other day, with all of my fasting and my white clothes and all of that, I was like, I reacted in a very toxic behavior. Some toxic behavior showed up from nowhere. Because, sometimes when you're cleansing, and I'm not trying to blame anything else, sometimes when you're doing a cleanse, all kinds of toxic things come up because you're cleaning out and you're juicing and your body is knocking out all of the nonsense that you put in your spirit, body, mind, and body. And so those things, those toxic things coming. So some kind of thing that I was releasing, I guess, just opened up, and a situation came up that triggered me. And it was, I behaved in such an unbalanced, in such an unbecoming way. Yes. I was like, da 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 da. So instead of listening, I started just talking and giving my opinion and unsolicited advice. I missed an opportunity to be what perhaps the person needed most, was kindness, gentleness, and just a listening ear. So sometimes we're in this place where we are this, and we're that. Baby, if Obatala could fall out of grace and forget who it was, we are allowed to do that. So I take responsibility, and I was just, I take responsibility that I was not acting as the white cloth. Sometimes we just gotta be taking our little whipping. And you know, you can go down and say 3 Hail Marys or whatever is your method of coming back to truth. But in that moment, you are closest to the Orisha. When you cut up like that and you come back, and when you are aware and you know that this is not you and this is not who you're supposed to be, sometimes you can confess and tell folks, but you tell it to yourself. And, oh my God, I blew it. Oh my God, will I be able to get this stuff? Yes, you will get the blessing, because just as Obatala was able to go back and undo his bad doing, we can do that. So today, let's beautify the world with kind words and deeds. Because a good word is an act of kindness. And an act of kindness is the thing that Obatala gives you the most unbelievable success and blessings. Because when Obatala looks around and says, I created all of this, and look at this magnificence that they're doing to empower the people to empower themselves. And they're using the empowerment to change the world. So in that moment, when you think that you're falling out of grace, in that moment, the Orishas are up in you. All up in your business. It's all up in you, letting you know that, look, I know you're imperfect, but I still love you. I know you're imperfect, and there is tomorrow. I know that there's imperfect, but as long as you're aware that the moment that you did, and don't try to lie and excuse it and blame something else, right there, you find your self-forgiveness first. And then you'll be able to say a kind word and be that joy. And the way that the world is going, and I know it was going like that in 1986, and it's always going to be the conflicts that we have, rumors of wars and all of that going on. But in the midst of it, let's shift some of the things that we may be reacting to or being triggered to understand, as Obatala did, that we can't get that pissed off, that angry, just out of our own dignity, our own who we are supposed to be, who we are the example. Because there's an old dude that says, no one can walk on the sand without leaving a trace or a track or a mark. So wherever we are doing or whatever we're doing and wherever we're going, there are people watching us to help us to move forward and let us know how grateful they are. Yesterday, I had the privilege of seeing I just was listening to, looking on thing and on social media, and I was just, this beautiful sister, I don't know her name right now, but she was just speaking just such beautiful words of encouragement. And then I just went in to say I liked it, and she was like, oh yeah, Yeyefini, I've been following you for years and I didn't even know that. And she says, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Baby, you be walking down the street, don't know that people are watching your gay leg. So you have to be careful when you're walking down that you don't have toilet paper hanging off your shoes. We got to make sure when we leave, we got to be up and at it. Do our rituals so that the toilet paper is not hanging off. You know, you're stepping on some toilet paper and think you all that, and somebody else is over there laughing. We got to make sure that our stuff is together, myself included, to know that when I don't even know that I have people following me for years, it brings me back to understand that even in your worst moment, and people may see the bad moments, they still know that you're worth something. So you out there today, let's make it beautiful world by just being kind and recognize that some people are just in pain and they're reacting. And sometimes we just draw that energy because we needed to go. I probably drew that energy to myself to be having this power of you today. So nothing is by coincidence. So in this moment, we just want you to connect to Obatala. The energy, Orisha Funfun, Orisha Toga, Obatala, Edaenya Bi Obatife, Baba mi Obatala, Ojoko Birikale, Obatala, Oshejushemu, Obatala Orisha that makes us all. Obatala, Biminike Olodumare, Baba mi Obatala. You are the epitome and the influence of all of our good deeds. So let's just close our eyes right now and connect to the white light above our heads. And allow that white light to just surround your body and just hold you in a white cocoon of radiating light, and know that whatever happens today, you are the epitome and the expression of the divine. And if you lose your temper and if you misstep in that moment, recognize Obatala is not watching. Obatala is present. Eru ayé mi Moshe o, eru ayé mi Baba. Eru ayé mi Moshe o, eru ayé mi Baba. Obatala orisha fini fini ekure. Bobo wa enya puerere. Just breathing in and accepting Obatala's energy. Eru ayé mi Moshe o, eru ayé mi Baba. Eru ayé mi Moshe o, eru ayé mi Baba. Obatala orisha fini fini egure. Bobo wa enya puerere. Obatala baba mi o. Orisha la pueyingo baba mi obatala. Adupue o. Bobo enya loni o. Apue Obatala. Ilera o baba mi Obatala. Adupue o. Orisha fini fini. Orisha nla. Obatala gemo orisha mi. Yeyefini poingo. Wa 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 ni sisi baba. Jọ̀wọ́ mi baba. Wa tọ́jú wa jọ̀wọ́. Fún wa àlàáfíà o. Ìlera o. Sùúrù o. Baba mi Obatala. Adúpẹ́ o, adúpẹ́ fún ọmọdé, adúpẹ́ fún bàbá, adúpẹ́ fún ìyá, adúpẹ́ fún àwọn ọmọ, adúpẹ́ o. Baba mi Obatala. Ajúbàyí o, adúpẹ́ o, Obatala. Ìjókòó bírí kalẹ̀, Obatala kíkún wa, Obatala kíṣẹ́ orí tiwa, adúpẹ́ o, adúpẹ́ o, adúpẹ́ o. Oh, Mother, Father God, we just give thanks for this ability and this opportunity to connect to the bigness of each one of us. We just give thanks that there's nothing that can detain us or stop us or impede our path to the righteousness of knowing that white is the essence of purity, of calm, and bigness. Ashe, Adupwe. Thank you all. Have a blessed Obatala day. So, for those of you who would like to come to the Obatala, my 54th Orisha anniversary on social media, you have to be a member of the Ore IIASK family. You can go on there and join my group, and you come to worship service and online and come. And if you're locally part of the Ore IIASK family, you can come in person. So thank you all. Y'all get out there and get that just juice and goodness from Obatala. I share. Y'all have a blessed day. Whatever.